apparently Joe's going to be playing some tunes from his window for the long course weekend. So if you're popping through Manor Beer, make sure you listen out for those fab tunes helping you on your way this weekend. Now then, rocking our world this morning. Good morning, it's Bill Carne.
It's a big rock and a heavy rock, but yes.
Rocking our world in a nice way, Bill.
Yeah, I had a bit of rock last night. There's a new show on More 4 with Popmaster with Ken Bruce.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. How are you finding it, Bill?
We saw the first episode last night. It was good. It was okay. I only get about 2 questions right every week. It's 260s questions, I get them. Otherwise, I flounder.
Yeah. Oh, right. I was going to say pub quiz. You should join me on a Thursday morning because I'm not doing very well, Bill.
Oh, heck. Oh, dear. I'm okay on general knowledge.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, you might be all right.
I'm not.
It's a little bit later on than this as well. 7:30 on a Thursday we do the pub quiz, but today we're not looking at general knowledge. We're going to hone in on something specific. First of all, Bill, let's start off. Did you get that result from last night in the end?
I did indeed, and it was. If you'd said to me when we spoke who was likely to win, it would have been Carew hands down. They'd restricted Narberth to just 136 for 7, which wasn't a lot of runs because they started so well. Narberth had got 60 on the board very early on. But then as things go, Carew had a great start as well through Nick Davis and looked as if they were going to win with 67 for 0. But in the end, they fell 6 runs short. So the final is now Neyland against Narberth. It's the first time, if ever, Narberth have been in the final, first time for a long time. And all credit to them and commiserations to Carew. 2 good semi-finals. Langham lost to Neyland, as I said, by 7 wickets. Ross Hardy had 66 not out and in 44 balls and 2 for 17. Jack John 3 for 27. So there's your final, the first major final decided for the season. But there is one other final on Sunday. Tom and Gina, I wish you could go. Gina, you could go. It's in Whitland.
Well, I could, but I'm in Colchester, you see, because I've looked at this already. Yeah, and I thought, well, I might see Bill up there for the Dougie Morris.
Well, yeah, it's actually the Alan Brown in Whitland.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they play it every year there. It's a great host club. It's the final for teams from the low divisions on the basis of the Harris and Allen. Everyone in the low divisions wants to play in it, and I don't blame them. And that features a real local derby between themselves, Pembroke and Huntledon. So that's the first time that will ever have happened. And a good day will be had by all. It's a cracking day out, the Alan Brown final. So that's Sunday. And 2 weeks Sunday then is the Dougie Morris final, which is always held in Oatfield Park in Burton.
Gosh.
There we are.
It feels the season's just going at such a pace. It almost feels too soon to be talking about finals, but we're here, and you've just got to get on the treadmill and go.
That's right. I'm just waving to Helen Morris, Ellen Marie, who's a lovely girl, and she's online now.
Yeah, and MJ Wood.
MJ Wood got Michael there as well.
Oh, yeah, great. It's lovely to see in it. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Tom, but that's lovely, that is.
Do you know what I think it is with the cricket this year? We've had such good weather that every game seems to have been able to go ahead, and we seem to be rattling through it then, rather than previous years. It's been like rained off, and it just prolongs everything.
You're absolutely right, Gina. Absolutely spot on. All the final, all the cup competitions are smack on time at the moment.
There's at the moment.
As we look outside.
It's definitely raining at the moment. And of course, there's lots of memorial games going on as well. We're at that point in the season where there's other bits and pieces coming in. And of course, the T20 hasn't even started yet.
That's right. The Aled Davis Memorial is coming up fairly soon. A great guy, Aled. I was good pals with him. He once paid me the compliment of saying a 50 I'd scored is the worst he ever saw.
That's fantastic.
When he was playing for Criselli, then not Carew, and he's a boy and a half. Aled was. So that's coming up. The Ken Morris Cup has started only this week. First 2 games have been on there, and there's lots like the T20 is coming up. We'll be talking later on to Craig Butland about that. That starts a week, not Monday, but a week Monday. So there's all sorts of cricket going on. It's absolutely manic. The ladies is full on. The county ladies have got a game again this weekend. Full programme of First Division. We could go on all day.
Yeah. If you want to hear more about the Aled Davis Memorial match as well, Tom Davis was on the Sports Show on Monday, so you can listen back on the catch up at purewestradio.com, or you can scroll through the videos on our social media channels, Facebook or YouTube, and find that as well. And I'm just looking at Division 1. My pick for the fixtures is it's going to be quite an even balance of teams, really. So it'll have to be probably Criselli and Saunders Foot, looking at the numbers of where they are in the table.
Yeah, indeed. There's a couple of players who've played for both clubs, so there's always an interest in that. Both sides like to hit big, to score big. So it'll be interesting to see who wins the toss and what they do with that. But that's a cracking game there. And another game where you've got really big hitters is Loreni who was third, playing Langham who was seventh. But Langham at the moment, I think someone told me last night, Di Davis, that Langham have got 3 first-team players available, only 3.
Oh, gosh.
Because of work, weddings, they seem to have more weddings in Langham than anywhere in the world. Cricketers like a wedding, I can tell you that. And then a big game for Burton. They really need to start winning. They're 10th and they're playing Tissue 5th and in the middle of a good run of form. Yeah. And then Narberth play Carew again, which is interesting. This time at Narberth. Narberth are 8th, Carew 2nd. That's why, in a way, the game was a bit of a surprise result last night. And then Neyland, who are top and powering on. They still a few players short mind. They're playing Branston, who are 9th. And Herbie are capable of upsetting anyone. So there's lots of cricket going on in there, and the same in the second division.
Just looking now, Pembroke Dock v Hook looks like it's going to be a bit tasty.
That's a good game of cricket. Hook are incredible. Do you know, Gina, last week, Hook first average age was 23, and their seconds had 7 players of 15 or under, and there are 4 players there, Jamie Phelps, Matthew and Chris Holder, and one other fella who's over driving age, and they're automatic choices, not because they're the best players, but they're the only ones who can drive. Great.
I love that.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
And then you mentioned full complement of cricket. The county. Well, we'll look at the ladies' divisions just a second, but the ladies' county squad is back in action as well.
Yeah, they're travelling to Newport to play on Sunday, hopefully. With a very representative side and some talented young ladies led by Sam Rossiter, Lucy Johnson, Gemma Phillips, Cara Evans, Chloe Lewis, Amelia Wilson, Fionn Ashman, Maddie Potter, Maisie Davis, Nia Williams, Olivia James and Phoenix Phillips. And you know, Gina, what's amazing about that team? Over half of those, their dads still play cricket.
I was going to say it's in the family, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, that's right. I mean, you've got Phoenix Phillips. Her dad, Christian, is playing for Criselli. I think Phoenix is 13. She's so talented. And you've got others there, Maddie Potter, Danny Potter's little girl, Maisie Davis. They're all people whose families are involved. Gemma Phillips, her family well known in Haverfordwest. So it's great to see, isn't it?
It is great to see, yeah. Indeed.
It is. And of course, the weekly cricket from them is just as competitive. It's fantastic that we're able to talk about this. And there's the Clive Huxley Cup quarterfinals have been played.
Yes, I told you before. Clive Huxley was a great man for Stackpool. He was a member of Lords, very proud of the MCC, very proud of that. He used to go up and watch. He's not from the area originally, and his daughter Kath, who's a well-known cricketer, established the sponsorship for that in memory of dear old dad. I played with him at Stackpool. And in the games this week, Burton beat Neyland very easily. Burton, Olivia James, 25. I was talking to her in the week. Her dad, Richard, played cricket, of course. Rebecca Barton, 20, not out. St. Ishmael's, 58. Criselli, 59 for 1. They are the top side at the moment, going really well. And if you look at that, you can see why. Lauren Arthur, 44, not out. She came back after retiring. Fionn Ashman, 2 for 5. Aber Midgley, 2 for 5. Larry Williams, 2 for 3. And that's on top of a good fielding performance. And Carew lost to Haverfordwest. Haverfordwest are a good side. Carew developing. Carew, Jackie Goodwin, 28. Kate Chandler Hall, 2 for 11. If you don't mind, I'll just tell you a little bit about Kate. She has a husband, Brian, who plays for Carew First. He was playing last night. Everybody knows Brian.
Yeah.
His late dad, Peter. And he was telling me last night, Brian, that in one game, all 5 of them played last year.
Ah, how lovely is that?
Kate and Brian and the 3 boys, they've got twins and another young fella. They're all talented cricketers. They were in the nets practicing last night. They didn't watch the game.
Yeah.
They practiced all night, and you can see why they're fabulous young cricketers.
Grandad Horlicks would have been very proud.
Horlicks.
Yeah.
Now, if you said to me, pick my 3 best batsmen, he'd have been in it.
Yeah.
In the top 3. If you'd have said the biggest character, he probably wouldn't have won that hands down. Horlicks was some boy. I could write a book about him.
Brilliant.
Insisted
brilliant.
on calling me Billy, despite the fact that I told him it was a blinking goat.
He wasn't going to change. He was going to push it.
Well, the trouble is, he was in school with my wife, Marilyn.
Oh.
So he knew from a very, very early age.
Yeah.
He's some boy, I tell you. Expert on pop quizzes, Gina.
Oh, was he? Well, he was a DJ as well. I know he was a DJ.
He was a DJ. And if he'd been pop master around at that time, he'd have done well in that. He's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Oh,
nice to reminisce there, Bill.
Yeah.
I like that. We've got the semi-finals to be played on the 6th of July. That's not very far away, is it?
No, not at all.
Criselli v Burton and Hook and Haverfordwest. They're going to be exciting games.
Yes, Hook had a buy-through because Loreni didn't have a side now. So that they will be good games of cricket. The standard of ladies' cricket has improved incredibly.
It's great. And then I think we're staying with Hook. Actually, you've picked out the Hook family, I'm going to call it, for some good news snippets. Do you want to explain a little bit more?
Yeah, well, I mentioned those young lads in Division 2. Daniel Hughes was the other one who goes as a driver, stroke player. But those players are amazing. And Jamie was telling me on Saturday, I'll tell you a bit about his family, but he was with the other 3 adults, and of course, as soon as the game was over, it was hot day, they were straight in the bar. Where were the 7 youngsters? Out in the nets playing games of cricket.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's all they want to do. And that's why there's so many good players. Carew the same now with their youngsters. But on Saturday was a special day for the Hook family, including the Phelps lot, because they had Owen, who was 18, had his first ever century. He scored 100 against Llechryd. And John Curran, who's well known in Llechryd, told me it was one of the best innings he's seen this year. And then his big brother Aled, who's 22, was the skipper and had 39. And then in the seconds, Jamie, the dad, is captain, and he had 81. And the youngest, 15-year-old Reese, at 29 and bowled well as well. And overseeing all that is a lovely mum, of course. Wherever there's good sport, there's good mums in Clare. What a lovely family they are. So Hook are going really well, you know.
That's
brilliant. Now, Owen made a little detour on that day, though. He didn't go back out to the nets after the game. He was definitely on his 18th going in the bar for a pint.
Yeah, that's right. I think they change. Once they get 18 in Hook, they seem to like a pint of great tea.
Yeah, that's it.
But they've already done the time in the nets. They're already good enough. They've earned it by then.
Yeah, by then they're good.
That's fantastic. I'm just looking at that 12 fours as well. That's nothing to be sniffed at for Jamie in the seconds there.
No, and Owen actually, I think, hit 7 sixes in that 110. So,
wow.
Great to see.
When it's your day, isn't it? It's fantastic. Yeah. And then we're gonna quickly jump forward because we are talking rugby at the moment. But you've caught up with someone in the rugby fields. But there are some rugby draws in Division 1 because we looked at we looked at the Championship and 3A last week. Yeah, that's the one. But you've got some more fixtures for us now. The Division 1 Cup sees Whitland stay at home, but to Ustra Gunlice. Yes, there's only one. Some people say Whitland's not Pembrokeshire. They blink an R in rugby.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, that's right. Too right. And they're at home to Ustra Gunlice in this competition. I hope it'll be run better than last year. In Division 2, however, Fishguard and Goodwick are at home to Lampeter, who were in Division 3 last year and promoted. And Milford Haven travelled to Porthcawl. So 2 games there, Tenby United and St Clair's,
Mm.
who I try to include in Pembrokeshire as well because they're a good crowd. They've got buys. So rugby is already talked about. They're being played on the 23rd and 9th of the 9th, which fortunately is far away because I was sad, on Saturday because that was, last week was the first half of the second half of the season, first game of the second half of the season. That's not right. It's gone too quickly.
Yeah, it has gone quick.
It's gone far too quickly. And Bill, we couldn't talk sport without talking about our local gold medal winning hero, Blethen Gibbs. He's flown back from Berlin to a hero's welcome and well deserved.
Yeah, quite rightly. The Special Olympics is a very special event, and to win 4 medals, that is amazing and a fitting tribute to his attitude and commitment to sport and his families. His mum, Rachel, and his dad, Steph, are fantastic followers of all sport. They are greatly involved in the Pembrokeshire Vikings rugby, where Blethen is captain and one of the first players to play there. I was lucky last year, both of you. I was invited to be the guest speaker at their first dinner. And a measure of how well the sort of club works, but the involvement of the Gibbs family. I sat by his gran and granddad from Porthcawl, had a long chat with them and an invite for a cup of tea anyway, anytime I'm there. They were lovely. And Rachel organised the event and the style. I only just wanted to show you. Everyone there, get it right, Bill, had one of those as a memento, their own slate toaster.
Wow.
Which was fantastic. And when I'd finished gabbing away as I do, they gave me this. And I would like you to see it. Not many clubs would take the trouble to do that. You see the post, a lovely message. And thank you from your friends at the Pembrokeshire Vikings. And that was down to Rachel. And so Blethen has got fantastic support. He's also got the support there of Simon Gardner, Andrew Meddings, and Simon Roach at the Pembrokeshire Saw. No one could put more work into what the club does. You do well to get him on air, mind, because he doesn't like talking. He likes just getting on with it. If I go there to say, do you want to have an interview, have a chat to her? He says, oh, Chloe's there, or Neve's there, his daughter, and he passes me on to them, and they're brilliant. He doesn't like the limelight, and all credit to Simon for that. It's lovely to see. But Blethen, Tom, he's going now, guest of honour at the Milford Haven Carnival tomorrow, where you'll be involved all day, which is lovely. And the weather's going to be good rather than today. And he's guest of honour. So wouldn't it be fantastic to see him there? I think some of his Vikings friends are forming a guard of honour at the start. And hopefully you'll have a chance to talk to him there. He's a lovely, lovely lad. He likes to take the place kicks in rugby. Totally committed. And his weightlifting, his powerlifting, it is, isn't it? He does.
Yes, that's right.
He's lifting weights to things like, I think I'm right in saying the deadlift is something like 23 stone.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's, 2 people together, isn't it?
Yeah. Good. Well, now, and Bill, I know that you're passionate about this, but it also proves that sport really is for all at whatever level, whether it's at the Special Olympics, whether it's Division 6 in the cricket or in Division 5 in the football. There is sport for everyone, and there's bocce to play now for different abilities. And I know that you're passionate about that.
I'm absolutely passionate, and anyone who ever tries to say, well, it's disability sport, they'd be howled down by me. They are athletes. And if you look at Blethen, what he's done is phenomenal, and it's totally down to hard work, total commitment, and high skill levels. And he is an athlete in his own right. And what he's done is every bit on a par with other successes that you'll ever see in Pembrokeshire.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much, Bill. If I can, I'll try and get a little recording of Blethen for Monday evening, or we'll try and invite him on so he can appear live on a Monday evening with the Pure Sports Show with Eaton Evans and Maurice Listers. So watch this space. But you've been out and about already this week, Bill.
Yeah, I've interviewed 3 or 4 people for 3 slots on the show on Monday. First of all, Natalie Walsh, who has been 18 years playing rugby for Whitland. Gina, you'll have heard her shouting sometimes on the pitch behind you. And she's going to stop playing 15-side rugby because of the commitment to travel from Fishguard, where she lives. And she's going to play 7s. I mean, she's already played in places like Hong Kong and Dubai for teams who phone her up and say, Nat, can you pop out to Dubai with us? And yes, as you do.
He's there.
As you do, yeah.
And she's involved. She's telling me about a sevens tournament in Haverfordwest in a fortnight for charity, and she'll be there. She's a real character, and I've been waiting to talk to her for about 6 weeks, but she's away all the blinking time. So, but she's announced it, and says she's definitely stepping down from that sort of part of the game. And then next week, the Pembrokeshire T20 midweek cricket starts. Craig Butland started that last year. He's increased the number to 15 this year. Teams last year was a huge success, other than the final was a success, but in an unusual way, because it poured down with rain. They played the 2 semi-finals, couldn't play the final, so they had to have a competition where the teams bowled at one stump, 5 each from each team bowled at one stump at Pembroke Dock. Everybody else in the clubhouse looking up through the windows. It was so heavy, it was a torrent. Nicky Cope was the hero because he plays for Chris Ellie as a hard-hitting batsman, but he was the only one to hit a stump. So that is coming up soon. And then last night I caught hold of, not literally, but talked to them, Trevor Evans, who's the president of the Pembrokeshire Cricket, and Steve Blow, another Whitland guy. Gina, you're everywhere, you Whitlands. And Steve Blows, who is the secretary. Both very hard-working. Trevor's been ill. He's umpired his first game last week. He's been quite ill, but he's back. And Steve is a Londoner. We can't hold that against him. He's a policeman there. And they're talking about the Alan Brown on Sunday, because like me, they'll enjoy that. Not just the cricket, but the tea. Both of them can eat, let me tell you. And both can drink far better than me as well. And I'm talking about then the Dougie Morris final coming up. And like you said, Tom, how lucky Steve has been this year with the organisation, because there's been very few postponements. Yeah. Two Saturdays rained off, but that's not bad in 18 so far. Anyway. And the forecast is good tomorrow. So we got some interesting characters, and Fraser will have a couple as well.
Fantastic. That's Monday evening from 7 o'clock, Pure West Sports Show with Eden Evans and Maurice Lister. You can listen back to last week's at purewestradio.com. Gina, it's a very important time for Bill now.
It is indeed important time for me as well, because I love to find out what Bill's going to choose as his Feel Good Friday tune, because there's always a little story attached to it as well. So, Bill, what have you got for us today?
Well, this week I thought I'd show that I can be a little bit diverse, because when I was a youngster, it was always that people of my age, Beatles versus Rolling Stones. And I was very much in the Beatles corner.
Yeah.
But I have to accept that the Rolling Stones played a huge part in music. They weren't quite my cup of tea for a lot of the time. They made a song about 4 years ago called "Old Soldiers Never Die." I'd get that on sometime. Yeah. It's gorgeous. But I thought I'd pick the one that I really liked as a kid. I had to admit to people I liked it. It was called "This Could Be the Last Time."
Ooh.
This could be the last time. Well, I hope it isn't, Bill. I'm looking forward to the Pembrokeshire Sports Update with Bill Carne again. Of course, all the fixtures that you've got, they're on your website. What's the address?
Yeah, pembrokeshiresport.co.uk, and we'll have all the scores on the board and the scorers on Saturday night, without fail.
Fantastic. And in the meantime, give a good old radio introduction. What have we got coming our way, Bill?
What have we got?
What's the song?
Oh, this could be the last time.
God, were you part of the Rolling Stones, Bill?
I know. I've gathered no moss. I know that. But,
Bill, as ever, thank you so much for your time on a Friday morning.
To be a Rolling Stone.
It's not long gone, 7:30. It's Feel Good Friday. We're going to be collecting your tunes. Joe's already been in touch. This is Bill with the Rolling Stones. Let's do this again next week, Bill, after another fantastic week of sport here in Pembrokeshire.
Thanks for having me, and everyone, have a good sporting weekend.
Feel Good Friday with Pem's Paving. Your one